That was William Vitalis with Open My Heart to the World. Welcome to Let's Find Out. The focus of this program is to have our hearts open to the universal, united, kind, loving, and forgiving planet. We have entered into a new decade and new energy form, the transformational 20s. Let's all begin to strengthen the new energies on the planet, strengthen your intuition, and strive to live a peaceful existence free from fear. What strategies, prayers, meditations, and exercises can one use to tap into the higher realms and receive messages from our departed loved ones, creating a higher vibration of living? When we're upset and confused, where can we find the answers? How can we know which path to take? The answers are here on Let's Find Out with our spiritually focused format and guests. And now it's time for tonight's program. Let's Find Out with Elizabeth Joyce.
Good evening, this is Elizabeth Joyce, and I'm glad to be here with you tonight. I am so excited because we are coming to a great ending of a cycle. A cosmic cycle is ending, and so we are transforming ourselves to living examples and guiding lights. Share your light and share your vision. As you raise your vibration and you come into the place of no fear and only creativity, you will be very pleasantly surprised to see how it all unfolds. I have a wonderful guest tonight. Her name is Sharo, and she has been here before. She is the author of the book, Know the Name, Know the Person. I believe that's right, Sharon, right?
Yes, that's right. Know the name, know the person, know the name, know the spirit, know the name, know how to connect.
But I want you to know about her is that she does other things that are very magical. And the one thing that she does is a little bit of what I do. We both are looking into what's coming. And I thought that tonight we could talk a little bit about that as well as names, because so much is coming. And what I'd like to encourage all of you to do is to get out of the fear and get into the love, get into your focus, what you're doing, and be able to embrace all the new opportunities that are coming, especially in this coming month, July. This is a call-in show today, and the number to call is 202-570-7057. So catch us up, Sharon. What have you been up to?
Well, I've been writing diligently on my fifth book, which will be Know the Name, Know the Health. And so that's been taking a lot of my time. And then doing name readings and channeling, just like normal. And I've also been quilting. I'm entering my first one in a show. I know that's kind of totally out of left field.
It was beautiful. That's a lot to do. Let's talk about your sharing with others and your guidance with them.
Well, I think we're in a very interesting time, Elizabeth, because what I see coming forward is actually the end of duality. And I don't see that it's a smooth transition because all of us have been reared in duality. You know, there's an up, there's a down, there's an in and an out and everything. And I think we're starting to see things as a continuum, like life is just a continuum. You know, we don't die. You know, our bodies.
It's a change in the way of living. That's always been my favorite quote.
Yes.
It's a change in the way of living. And we have choices even at death as to how we want to ascend and who we want to be with after death, which is amazing. I've had two very powerful out-of-body experiences, and one was from a head-on car crash. I wrote about it in my book, Unlimited Realities, and I tried to be very detailed with it, but it does change you. It does show you something greater than ourselves, and it shows you the power of this fabulous light that keeps coming on the planet. It gets poured on. But we need to talk about where people are with these riots and the flu, the virus and everything. And I did hear that China says that there's another flu coming that's a little bit stronger than the coronavirus. So whether it's coming over here or not, I don't know. I know they have closed their borders. As you know, my son lives in China, so he does tell me a few things. What do you see for that, Sharon?
I do see, I call it COVID-20 because it's the next one after 19. But it's like there was 3 that were created and the first one's come out, but now it's going to be the The second one is coming this fall. I expect it to hit us sometime in September, totally lock us down again in October, and then most of November. But I do see that. But I just think that's the second out of three.
Well, I see that too, and maybe that's why I'm feeling there isn't going to be a presidential election, or there'll be an interference with it. Actually, maybe we'll be voting in December instead of November.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked at that at all. I've been doing my very best to stay away from politics because it seems like everybody's so emotionally involved. And one of the things for us to gain in consciousness is to become the non-emotional observer. So
right, just become neutral. And I'm neutral, but I keep getting these things in front of me as to events, which is different from being emotionally involved. If I see an event, then I see it, right?
Right,
and that's
exactly.
what I'd like to try to explain to people, because when you give out the information during these times of transformation and chaotic change, then people blame you for being this or that, or they'll call you, a name like a Democrat or a Republican, and they don't know that you're neutral and you're just delivering a message.
No, they don't call us Democrats and Republicans anymore. They just call everybody a racist. That's the most popular word anymore.
I think that's probably true. I remember being chased out of the post office by a lady screaming that I was a racist, and I just laughed at her. I just laughed. It was so ridiculous.
Yeah, but I think it's all everybody's reaction to what's going on, because there's not enough information going out there. And I think it's fabulous, Elizabeth, that you can see those type of things. Those type of things don't come to me. What comes to me is, what do we have to do next to get a higher vibration?
As I sent to you today, I made a new video, and I put it up for June and July to try to let people know what is possible. It may not be. If we start changing the consciousness, we can always change the outcome. But if people know what's happening around them, they don't have to be so afraid. They can just prepare better, don't you think?
Well, I think so, because I think fear really stands for a lack of information, and that's all. And once you have more information, then you can let the fear go.
Plus the programming of how we've been taught. Everybody wants to obey the government. If they tell you to pay taxes, we have to pay them. So if they tell you to lock down, then we have to do it. And some people do it and are very resentful of it, but they're not really understanding that it is protective. I do feel that if Trump had closed down the country in January and Martin Luther King weekend, when we first heard about the virus, that we would only have been closed for that month, and that it would not have spread like this. But people doubt, they don't believe, they test it out, and with something as deadly as this, that's a little dangerous.
Well, I don't think we're being told by government or by the adversaries of government all the truth. I think it's really hard to know the truth right now. And so people like yourself, Elizabeth, that get these downloads are just blessed to be able to see what's really going on, because I think everybody's lying on every side of the coin.
Right. But anyway, I wanted to ask you about a name, and it's Visionary is one name I wanted to ask you about, and the other is I'll think of it in a minute. Shifting. Okay. I hear the word shifting. Shift over to your visionary or something. I don't like that word, and I never have. I thought you could explain it.
Okay, so in the word visionary is an appeal or a charisma or an attraction to go there. And it's inclusive, and it's smart, it keeps learning, and it's practical, and it's very logical, and it says it's not always as organized as it would want to be, but that's okay, because everything has a challenge in it. It says it's got fairness issues, it wants to be fair, and very, very likable. So visionary as a whole is a really positive, welcoming word that's very attractive to people. When you go to the word shift, it's got within it a freedom, but it also has a freedom at any cost, and that it doesn't have to be honest, it doesn't have to be accurate, it just has to be able to get its own way.
I call it wobbly. Move over to a higher consciousness and shift over to a higher consciousness sounds very different. Which one is the better word?
Oh, definitely move. Definitely is moving is the better word, but I really think we grow into another consciousness.
I do too. I do too. Growing into another consciousness is letting go of your beliefs that have you programmed.
Well,
We've been
Elizabeth,
programmed with a lot of the beliefs.
I was going to say, and it starts when we're kids, and we just accept whatever our parents tell us. And,
That's right.
And I think it's very difficult and very wise for everybody to go back and say, if my parents taught me that when you do A, you get B, but I constantly get C, then I need to readjust my thinking that when I do A, C is actually what's happening. And that C might have happened for my parents, but it doesn't happen anymore. And I think we've got to trust
everything has changed.
Yeah.
Everything has really changed, but I think it's a miracle. I do think that we have to be faithful. We have to focus on the bright new future. Our dreams are coming true, and our intuitive abilities are certainly strengthening. They're becoming more stronger and more accurate. And the more that you go within and do the meditations and listen to what's being said to you from within, the stronger and the better and more improving that you'll have.
Well, it's definitely an interesting time. What's that Chinese saying? May you live in interesting times. Because you definitely don't get bored. But I think it's a time period from all the name readings that I've been giving lately. It's a time where we're letting go of some people that are no longer appropriate for our lives, and we're getting closer with other people. I feel like it's a real time of shifting relationships besides just shifting ideologies.
Instead of looking up to somebody and admiring them, it's time to look within and admire yourself and know that you can be that. You can be that because we're one. But you have to work hard and do your part. This is Elizabeth Joyce with Let's Find Out on OMTimes Radio. Now it's time for our wonderful weekly cosmic tip, and I will be back with Sharo Linn Why-ith right after this. This is Elizabeth Joyce with Let's Find Out, and now it's time for our weekly cosmic tip. This is Elizabeth Joyce with Stargazing, week of June 22nd through June 29th, 2020. As Venus speeds up her pace and Neptune prepares to go retrograde this week, you can certainly expect some ups and downs. Monday, there's a combination of a Cancer moon on the tail of a solar eclipse, while Neptune is slowing down to turn retrograde Monday night. Because Neptune spends so many months in retrograde, until late November of this year, its changing direction often eludes people, or they just like sleeping in early in the week. Neptune starts it off on Tuesday as it retrogrades for the next 5 months. Neptune represents illusions, fantasies, drugs, and the collective unconsciousness. The summer months is the time when the veil is lifted and the rose-colored glasses come off. If you're very brave, you might begin to see the reality of your situation. The truth comes out across the world, especially concerning world leaders and the virus. Also, this election will affect both of the national conventions in August. The effect of this outer planet is impersonal, subtle, and not easy to control, much like the riots we have seen lately. Expect more of the same. Be aware that there's an opportunity to go beyond the veils of this transitory world and to tap into a higher spiritual vision for your not-too-distant future. It's an excellent time for meditation and receiving higher wisdom pertaining to your situation. Take the time. The results may surprise you. On Thursday, the 24th, Venus ends her retrograde cycle, which has been in Gemini since May 13th. During her retrograde cycle, along with the COVID virus, everyone has been revising and reviewing their finances. Venus is also a relationship planet, so some people have been putting thought into which relationship should go forward and which not, or feeling the need to reconnect with people in the past that fell on the back burner during your isolation. As Venus moves forward, finances and relationships will focus more on the present and the future rather than reflecting on the past. Also, Thursday, the moon enters purifying Virgo through Saturday morning. Eat healthy, do a body cleanse, clean the house,
and put your finances in order, and also get rid of the clutter. Saturday is social as the moon moves into harmonious Libra. Also on Saturday, Mars moves into the warrior's favorite sign, Aries. This is a passionate sign, which puts Mars at his maximum firepower. Mars has a home advantage in Aries. This is a prime time to initiate actions and new beginnings. Normally, Mars spends about 6 weeks in a sign, but because he turns retrograde September 9th through November 13th, he will be passing through assertive Aries until early January of 2021. Remember, Mars is the match that lights your fire. It's time to start looking at your ambitions and to decide where you want to assert your energy in the upcoming 2021. Sunday includes the first quarter moon, which challenges you to get moving on projects and ideas started at the summer solstice. Mars makes a minor harmony to Saturn early on Sunday, making Sunday morning a good time to get up and get moving early. This is Elizabeth Joyce with Visions of Reality. The website is new-visions.com. If you'd like to make a call to ask a question or book a reading, the phone number 24 hours is 201-934-8986. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.
This is Elizabeth Joyce with Let's Find Out, and I'm on today with Sharo-one Why-ith, who is the author of the book Neimology, and a few others as well. And we're talking about in the moment and sharing our vision and what's coming. And we're certainly at a full spectrum of light, and we've had many, many powerful transforming incidents happen this entire year. We are transiting from the dense, broad-spectrum duality of the lower dimensions into the lightness and expanded freedom of the higher fourth and fifth dimensions. How is that affecting you, Sharo-one, and how is that working with the people around you?
Well, working with the people around doing readings, it's like everybody is more willing to listen and very grateful for the information that comes across in their personal name readings, because it's very apropos for now and can really narrow in on what's important now for them. In my own personal life, I find that I've segregated more because I need more sleep and I need more alone time.
I find that too. And as you know, I've just moved from Austin, Texas to New Hampshire. And in doing that, I'm finding that I have the alone time. Although I'm doing renovations, it's still wonderful to be with myself and to, just get up to the morning sun and just relax and not have so much to think about. It's very important to understand that these, I will call them off the planet beings, are transmitting wonderful messages to us and really trying to help us through this time. Earth is important. And it's not going to blow up. We're not going to get hit by an asteroid. We're not going to get ruined. We have to move on. And every life is important. Everybody has their own little place in this huge tapestry of life. And if we could respect that and learn more about that and believe it, I think that we would be better off.
Well, And I think it's important to honor each person for what they're getting for themselves and start to really trust the intuition and see where it takes you.
Instead of wanting to punish somebody for something that they did, why don't we look at why did this happen, what's going on in their mind, and how can I help them to heal? And if we started approaching from that angle, I think it would lift a lot of things, don't you?
I do. I look at it a little bit differently, Elizabeth. I look at it as it's really time for us to learn forgiveness, and yet I define forgiveness differently because the Bible defines forgiveness as they split it into two words. So you are for, not against, giving the situation back to God. So you don't have to carry it, you don't have to worry about it, you don't have to make it right. You are for giving it back to God, which means you don't forget it, but you don't have to do anything about it, and therefore it's not a weight on your shoulders. So I think it's a great time to practice forgiveness.
Now, sometimes we have things done to us that we're not happy with by mean-spirited or badly behaved people. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, It happens, and it happens to all of us. I think it just comes with with one of these things called the human body. And again, I think we can forgive them and forgive ourselves for whatever part of us that drew them in or allowed them to come into our range and our atmosphere. But by forgiving them and moving on and raising our own vibration, it makes it harder and harder for that type of individual to come into our sphere. So I think our greatest protection or our greatest wish is just literally to keep raising our vibration higher.
Well, you know, I was working with Louise Hay. I worked with her for 5 or 6 years. And the thing that got me when I first started working with her was the sentence, "Thank you for sharing." She was famous for "thank you for sharing." So one day somebody came up to me, not anybody that I knew very well, and said, "I think you're terrible. I don't like you." And I go, "Well, thank you for sharing." And what happened was their eyes grew big and they didn't know what to say. They couldn't come back with anything because I didn't say anything mean. I just honored their decision. And it was a riot. I mean, I laughed. I'm sure they didn't. They were very confused. They did not understand why they couldn't get me going because I think they feed on whatever the return is.
Which is really sad.
I think negativity feeds negativity.
One of the things, Elizabeth, that shows up in a lot of people's names, or a predominant number of people's names, is fairness issues. Okay, and being able to stand up for others, but not necessarily being able to stand up for yourself. And so a lot of the answers lie in the names, just like the challenges do. Mm-hmm. And the best answer to that is simply affirm yourself. So, like, let's just say, okay, we're on the radio. I can't tell what anybody's wearing. So let's say I came up and insulted your outfit and said, "Oh my God, that's the ugliest color I've ever seen on you, and it just washes you out, and look at the way it hangs. It looks like you put a potato sack on you."
That happened.
Okay, and whatever. If the person, instead of responding to what was said in a negative way or trying to attack back, if a person just affirms themselves, and by saying, "I love this color. It's my favorite color, and when I'm wearing it, I just feel great. And the way this hangs, I can twirl and I can dance, and I have such freedom in it." And if you take every point of negativity and you reaffirm, "Wow, you like that," then you've reaffirmed yourself. You're back in joy. You're back in higher vibration. And it's a kind way of saying to the other person, "Your negativity didn't affect me. I'm not going to attack you back. And don't do that to me again."
And I have a great example of that. My son was graduating from college and we were having a party. And my twin sister was always Miss Negative. You remember that. She came in dressed in Bermuda shorts and an old t-shirt and socks rolled down under her ankles of her feet. And I came in dressed. And the first thing she did was come up and grab my arm and say, "You have to take off that necklace. What is it?" I said, "Oh, it's beautiful lapis." And she said, "Well, it doesn't match the other blue, so I'm going to take you in the bathroom and you take it off right now." And I put my hand on hers, and for one of the first times, I looked at her and I said, "Thank you for letting me know that you don't care for my necklace. I love it." And I just walked past her, and she was shocked.
Yeah, people don't know what to do with that because you're not giving them any negative energy to react to.
Another great sentence.
With love.
Another great sentence is, "Thank you for having the courage to say that to me."
Wow. Yeah, wow.
Thank you for having the courage to say that to me. Thank you for sharing your feelings. Louise was an incredible, incredible teacher. She was just a natural teacher. She was a great cosmic light.
You know, and I love her books. I still love her books. I carry one with me all the time, one of hers.
We did a lot of work with the AIDS people back in the 80s. For 5 years, we went back and forth between New York and LA, and there was a lot of healing done. And she certainly created from her. She would say to me, "Look, I thought it, and it's here. I wanted an office. I wanted to start a publishing company, and it's here." And she would be just as I can't believe it, but it's here, as I feel about this house that I'm in. Oh my God, I'm in my family house. How did that happen?
Well, and it's so wonderful what you've been able to do with it. And then, Elizabeth, you have a new book out, Ascension.
No, my new book is Backstage.
Oh,
I wrote
Backstage.
Ascension
Sorry.
in 2010, but Backstage is about the energy behind the action. Like when we're
That's right.
seeing all the riots and people don't understand that it's not really the anger, that those riots are planned and there are people in the crowd that are instigating it.
Yeah, my apologies. I was just rereading Ascension for like the third time. That was on my
I said
brain.
read chapter 5. Chapter 5 tells you what's happening now. I think it's amazing that I said all of this in that book in 2010.
Yeah, well, when you get something, you get something, and
I know.
I don't think Spirit always gives us timing. It just gives us order. Like this will come and then that'll come and then that'll come. It doesn't tell us how much time is between the events.
Now, Sharon, I know you do readings, as do I, and so many people say, what's my mission? What's my story? What am I supposed to do? Well, I believe you're supposed to do what you're doing, and that you have a chance to ascend by keeping things positive. So my answer now, though, has shifted. Oops, there's that word, has moved to another answer. And that answer is you are holding the light and waiting 3.5 years for this to pass. No matter what happens, no matter what you see or what you hear, stay in the light, keep that vibration up, and meditate. And this will pass. And then you can be here to help everyone else clean it up, because we're going to have to clean it up.
Well, I look at it, there was a famous saying that my dad used to give me or say all the time. I know he didn't create it. And that was, bloom where you're planted. So we think about where are we now, and it's our job to bloom exactly where we are now.
Correct.
But the name does give us the 7 reasons that the soul wanted to experience or grow a deeper understanding for this particular lifetime. And I find that when I'm giving a name reading and I go through those 7 challenges for people or experiences that they wanted to learn more about, it's like everybody can so relate, and it clarifies for them and lets them give themselves a checklist, how am I doing? Which I think is really of value to people. Especially
I'm sure
because,
it is, and we'll be talking more about that, and I want to hear what those 7 items are after the break. We have to take a station break. We'll be back after this.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Elizabeth Joyce's Elixir Tea is really a healing tea. It's blended according to Ayurvedic principles and the chanting of Sanskrit mantras. So it assures a deep cellular healing, relief that flows from within. So drink Elizabeth's healing tea before you meditate. Order it online or call 201-934-8986. 201-934-8986.
Consistently attract soulmate clients, begin showing up on brand, monetizing on your calling. Welcome all spiritual coaches, leaders, healers, light workers, and practitioners to a show that turns you on in your business and amplifies your magnetism. I'm host, catalyst, and spiritual business coach Rosalind Fung, and I'm here to journey with you into the juicy and help you discover where the real gaps are. Ignite your mindset and soul with strategies and systems as each episode takes you to the sweet spot that activates your soulgasmic business by tuning in on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Mountain. Join me for your light language activation, and let's magnetize and monetize.
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
That was Elaine Silver singing We're Standing in the Possibility. Years ago, when I had a radio show in New York City, that was my opening song. And I certainly do love it. We are standing in the possibility. And here she was singing that in 1990. Not bad for Elaine. She's still singing, and you should go to her website, elainesilver.com. She's a beautiful, beautiful singer, and she's written some incredible music. This is Elizabeth Joyce with Let's Find Out, and I'm on with Sharo-ron Wyeth. I've got another one for you.
Okay.
Sharo-ron, I have, I just wrote it down. Ignite your consciousness or amplify your consciousness. Which one is better?
Ignite. Because in the word ignite is the word to change or to improve, and it's inclusive, and it will take you to the top. And in the word amplify says that you can manifest it, and you've got power of influence, but you're going to go on a lot of false paths along the way.
So interesting. Tell me about your new book.
Know the Name, Know the Health. It really talks about, at the beginning, what causes health. And I take a lot of different people's perspectives on what they think is the underlying form of health. And then we discuss from a higher vibration, where that is and where it's coming from and what you can gain from that piece of knowledge. And some of them I say, I agree with this part, but not this part or whatever. But I really delve into what's causing health concerns for our physicalities. And then I go into where in our name is our predisposition to certain illnesses or diseases because of our emotional patterns. And then
fascinating.
And the last third is all what these different illnesses, what they're really trying to tell us. Because I really feel that when a certain part of our body aches, pains, gets illness, whatever, it's yelling at us that you didn't pay attention sooner. I need to get your attention. This part is where we're going off path. Please help me correct your body.
And there are people that have chronic pain, and there are people that have chronic pain in the morning before they wake up. They feel stiff or they can't move. What's that all about, Sharo-ron?
Well, I think sometimes we don't move enough at night, or we're not liquidated enough at night, or we're reaffirming at night our previous beliefs, so we're not open to flexibility. And therefore, when we're not open to learn new things and look at different perspectives and to constantly grow, then we literally start getting stiff in our body. And the stiffness in the body is saying, where are we stiff in our thinking? Where do we need to be more flexible? Where do we need to be more open?
And you know what I have found, because I love affirmations per Louise Hay, what I have found is that if you say, will you please take me to the highest level possible tonight as I sleep, magical things happen. Just take a few minutes to clear yourself, be thankful for the day, go through the day. I call that nightly review. Then ask, just before you go to sleep, to be lifted up to the highest level that your body can vibrate to. And you will. It will happen.
Have you ever woken up and found that your body is literally shaking and vibrating because it's changing to a new vibration and it's literally vibrating?
No, I haven't done that, but what I have done is woken up and known that I'm not in my body yet.
Okay,
I'm
so
not
you're
in my
outside
body.
your body.
I'm above my body. So I finish up before I come back in the body, whatever that means. So if I was in my body, I probably would be shaking, but I'm above my body and I'm not in it yet. And then I do that mudra where you take your right thumb and put it in the center of your left hand, and that centers you. And then I bring a pole down my spine, and that will bring me back into my body. It's a wonderful, wonderful mudra. It's a very old mudra. And for people that have had an accident and are trying to repair part of the body, whether it's a broken arm or broken leg or something like that, this mudra is terrific for bringing you right into center. Immediately, you're brought into center. You take your right thumb and put it in the center of your left palm. You wrap your forefingers behind that left hand and press. And say, I am centered. I am healthy, whole, and complete. I am healthy, whole, and complete. And it really helps.
You know,
do you have anything special to keep yourself centered?
Well, I meditate on a daily basis, and that always helps. But my big thing is I constantly remind myself that I am the living presence of God's divine plan for me here and now, being made manifest. And
say that one more time for everyone.
I am the living presence of the divine plan that God has for me here and now being manifest.
That's great.
So I am literally manifesting the divine plan that God has for me, and that way I'm staying on path, in direction, and I constantly reaffirm that I'm manifesting what was pre-planned, making my will His will.
Well, that's great.
Or His will, my will. I say it better.
What I like to do, and especially when I'm maybe in a crowd in New York, if you're in a crowd or you don't know what's going on, anything could happen, I carry the light of love, peace, and harmony. And that brings you into balance. I carry the light of love, peace, and harmony. It's always worked for me. One time I was on my way over to a studio to speak to a very important person, and I had an open parking lot in New York, and I went up and I paid for the car first, because you have to do that. And I was pulling my money out and things, and this wonderful man came up to me, and I recognized him because he was a mother devotee. And he says, Miss Elizabeth, what are you doing? And I said, what? He says, you don't realize that you just flashed money, and you can't do that in this neighborhood. Where are you going? I said, I'm going a block and a half away. And he gave me his arm, and he said, let me escort you. Wow. It was amazing. Things you never thought about. I certainly didn't realize that I had done that, nor did I intend to. And he escorted me over to the studio. And I knew that that had saved me from harm. But he was there. He just appeared. And, of course, I knew him from Mother, which helped.
Yeah, which very much helped. But, I think that the right people are drawn to us at the right times, because I just feel like if you're living with a purity of heart, you're just taken care of.
Oh, that's true. When I was in Austin, I had to go over to a friend's house to give her some items that I was giving to her because I was moving up here and I didn't need them. And I said, when I get there, I'm not going to be able to carry these things upstairs, so I need a divine angel to come and help me. And I parked the car, and I opened up the trunk, and I turned around, and there was a man walking his dog. And I said, do you think you could help me? And it all worked out. It was just, I love it when that happens. That's our power. And, it's a small thing. But if you can do something that small, can you imagine how much more you can do when you go within and work your electric spine to put out a thought and have it come back real fast?
Well, I always look at it that an attitude of gratitude makes the space for grace.
Of course, I like that too. And I was very grateful that he helped, and he was very gracious himself. So it was pretty neat. You get the right one sent to you when you ask for it, instead of letting it just happen. Other people might have fussed and fumed and, well, I shouldn't do this. I'm gonna hurt. I'm gonna this. I'm gonna that, and then nobody would come along. That's
right.
Really true.
Well, I know that when I've had a few blowouts with tires on the road and I've pulled to the right as fast as I can to get off the road, literally every time that's happened, and unfortunately too many times, I guess, for what the odds would be, somebody has pulled up right behind me when they've seen that happen and me pulling over. Somebody has pulled up right behind me and able to help me take care of that and swap out the spare tire and whatnot. And what's really cool, Elizabeth, about that is not only was the help immediately there, but each time that happened, I had something in my trunk. Like I had just been picking peaches off the trees, someplace, or I had just been doing something, and I would have food in the back of my car, and I was able to give them fresh food and say, may I please thank you with this, So I always felt better being able to give something back.
Sharon, we are at the end of the show, and it's been a delight with you. I would like you to tell people how to reach you.
The easiest way to reach me is through the website, knowthename.com. Again, if you're driving or you're not able to write it down, you're going to say, oh, I need to remember the name. Oh, yes, that was it, knowthename.com.
Okay, and I'm sure that you'll be back again. And now it's time for our meditation. And next week we will have with us the lost Frank St. James to help us answer questions. And it's time for us to get ready for our meditation as we close the show. This is Elizabeth Joyce. Thank you for listening, and good night.
This is Elizabeth Joyce. I'm inviting you to join us worldwide to help strengthen and build our immune systems against any and all out-of-balance materials that may come our way. Visualize a sacred flame inside you. It sits between the middle of your hips and your navel. You can feel the energy coming in from this flame. It's very present and very alive. The color of this flame is amber, representing the new double helix energy that flows in from the center of the universe. Feel this powerful fifth dimension energy rising up from the second chakra to fill the solar plexus chakra at your navel. Know that this healing energy is arising from the flame and merging with your own Kundalini as well as your inner fire. Let the top of the flame begin to rise until it reaches your navel. The top of the flame comes to a fine point. If you follow the flame down, it gets wider, encompassing the second chakra. While its tip reaches your navel, your flame is spreading below, filling your abdomen. This is the receiving chakra, and you are choosing to receive this energy flowing in from the fifth dimension to help you stay centered, clear, well-balanced, and healthy. It encourages the body not to allow any foreign matter to penetrate it. Allow this flame to rise until the tip reaches the center of your chest, which is your heart chakra. The new heart chakra is a brilliant yellow, So we're allowing the amber flame to pierce through the solar plexus, which is now your green chakra, and up to the heart center, which is the brilliant yellow. And it will expand up to your 10th chakra, which is your new heart center. Now that the tip of the flame has reached the heart, see how your center solar plexus chakra is being filled with this light as well. As you feel the nourishing and expanding warmth of your inner flame, you also sense that things are being consumed by the fire, such as fear, impatience, judgment. All the negative forces that are within you are now being consumed by the fire, and the love of the universe, the universal love, is spreading throughout that area. Sense that things being consumed are your limiting thoughts, your limiting beliefs, feelings, and the patterns that you don't need around you. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath into your abdomen and allow this burning to take place. Let the flames fill the hollow of your stomach with positive and powerful energy. As the widening flame engulfs the center of your heart, feel that flood of tingling energy as your heart wounds are mended. Now let the flame continue its rising. It's going to begin to go out the center of your back and form a circle. It reaches up over the top of the head and pierces the 10th chakra, about 20 feet above you. And then it falls down again and back to the 4th chakra, the heart center. Then back out through the back and up into the 10th chakra. This is the amber flame of light, the new 5th dimension love center. Is called the circle of light. Breathe into it. Let the flame continue its rising. The tip is traveling up from your heart, going into your throat, going into your shoulders, going into your lungs with its healing heat. Feel how your body is now emerged with the pure life center energy, with aliveness, with passion, with creative energy. Breathe that in. Feel the warmth, feel the joy, and feel the love. Know that you are centered, whole, and complete. Now you can begin your new mantra. May I always be present to show the path of light and love to the pathless and the suffering, wanderers of life. If they should not understand or be open to this inner realization, may I abide in patience from the depth of loving kindness. May I continue to carry your love throughout the day, and may it touch the heart of anyone that I see, interchange with, talk to, or think about. I lovingly send this light to all of my loved ones, my family members, and the people that matter, as well as to the others that I do not know. May I be aligned with my soul purpose and aligned with everyone I meet in this light of love, kindness, joy, and wellness. May I create a plan of action, helping to accomplish the healing and removal of any negative energy that has come forth on the planet to destroy the body. My body is my temple. It is filled with your light every day. Thank you, Spirit, for being with me, for supporting me, and for supporting this purpose. May this energy, the 5th dimension energy of amber light, clear any blocks that are stopping me from knowing, achieving, and living for my divine purpose. May I discover the secret of how to keep this energy and alignment within me moving ahead as I walk my path throughout the year. Thank you for your kindness to me and for the world. Thank you for your presence in our lives, even when we are scared and concerned. Thank you for your patience, your understanding of our struggles, and for your joy of being in our lives. Thank you, God, for your love. Thank you, God, for your vast and deep understanding. Thank you, God, for all of this and more that you pour forth to us without end. In the name of the heart, the head, and the hand, I send blessings to all unseen people and all people that are dear to me and all people that have ever touched my life. I know that I am strong. I know that I am centered. I know that I am love. I know that I receive love. I know that I give love. And I know that I am. And so it is.